Teacher, I fucked up this Russell, day we hustle, but the oh my.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ryan, and this is the Thunder Channel. On nootropics, on testosterone, on using nutraceuticals, whatever we have available to us to make us feel, perform, and function awesomely. I am your host, Ryan Michael Ballo. Thanks for being with me. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Hit the bell to get notified of all the content that's coming out here. Get the YouTube app because that will notify you when we're doing live streams and other content comes out. I also want to say please like this video and like as many videos as possible. We've been banned, 7 or 8 times over the last 8 years. It's like once a year, sometimes twice a year. And that really messes with the algorithm and our ability to get suggested to other people. And so I just want to beat the algorithm in this case. So just please like the video and like as many videos as possible. A couple products support this broadcast. I'll explain them at the end of this video, but for now, the Cortex Nootropic Stack and the Torque Nootropic Stack. Listen, my friends, if you want fire blood from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m., get either one of those stacks or both. Links are in the description below. All right, friends, so let's talk about testosterone. So the number one statement I want to make is basically the title of this video, which is you're going to have a hard time building muscle with low levels of testosterone. Now, I think people inherently know that, but I want to point you to a paper that is titled Effective Testosterone on Muscle Mass and Muscle Protein Synthesis, in which basically they conclude that there's a 27%, that's a big increase, mean increase in protein synthesis in all of the subjects that they studied that were being administered exogenous testosterone. They were doing a pharmacological dose of testosterone anthate. Okay. Now this doesn't mean that if you're not on injectable TRT that you're not going to have enough testosterone to build muscle. I mean, sure, you easily could, so long as your testosterone levels are high. And that number is going to be different for different men. I mean, I have found that men can build muscle and have great sexual function at 650, 700 total tests. And then there's other guys that need 850, 900. And then there's a rare subset of, the male population that requires like to be in the 1100, 1200 nanograms per deciliter total testosterone range in order to feel really amazing, build muscle, have good libido, and all that sort of stuff. Facts are, testosterone aids in the process of preserving lean mass as well as building lean mass and decreasing fat mass. But the reason why testosterone aids in that process is protein synthesis, and specifically muscle protein synthesis. That is a natural metabolic process in which protein is produced in your body to repair damaged muscles. Okay, so look, I see men in my gym, and I have seen over time, and I have even been that guy over time that didn't have testosterone levels that were up to par. And I couldn't fucking build muscle. And these guys at the gym, they can't build muscle. They'll be there every day for 6 months. Every day that I'm there, working out, lifting weights, like they're lifting weights, dude. They look literally the same 6 months later. There's no physique change. There's no major muscle growth. They're kind of just maintaining what they have. They don't look any better. And then you got the guy who's like uber jacked, or a lean dude who's in great shape and is toned and is slowly building muscle. That's the guy that's usually natural. You have uber jacked folks, and most of the time, by the way, the guys that are really, really jacked and really, really lean at your gym are on PEDs. So however you have to go about this, you must focus on testosterone to build muscle. Now, there's other things that we're going to get to that in just a second, but I see too many guys that go to the gym and yeah, they're probably doing some other things wrong, which again, I want to talk about here in a second, but I can guarantee their testosterone levels, although you can sometimes tell when a guy's test is not particularly high, just in the way that he sort of is, right? Kind of walking around meagerly, not confident, seemingly anxious, walking slow, seemingly not energized, that kind of shit. So look, yes, as I've talked about before, there are natural protocols that you can use to raise testosterone, depending on if you're doing everything else right. The most effective one is in the testosterone superclass, which is a course on our website. It's down in the link below. If you want to get the course, you probably should if you want to raise tests, because we talk about natural stuff as well as non-natural protocols to supercharge test. But then there's, other let's call them non-natural ways, right? Drug-induced or otherwise pharmaceutical or nutraceutical, the potent nutraceutical or research chemical-induced testosterone enhancement, things like HCG and Clomid and, peptides and all this kind of stuff. So however you do it, my friends, if you're one of those people that's been going to the gym and you're lifting weights and you're not gaining muscle and you can tell over a long period of time, You must raise your testosterone. Because remember that very thing that you need in order to repair the damage done on your muscles so that they grow back bigger, because if you don't do that, if you don't repair the damage done on the muscles, they're not going to grow back bigger, is muscle protein synthesis. And one of the best ways that you get that, aside from, adequate calories and adequate protein, is testosterone. Let's talk about the rest, though, because I think this is important. I'll just throw this stuff in there now that I've made the heavy, emphatic point of raise your test. Please, if you want to gain muscle mass, raise your testosterone. Obviously, lifting heavy weights, right? There's a lot of guys that may have adequate levels of testosterone, or probably they can improve, but they're just not lifting heavy enough weights to damage the muscle so that they actually hurt. And you force that process of muscle protein synthesis to kick in and upregulate to go and repair those muscles so that the muscles actually grow. It's like, if you're not getting muscle growth and all other things are the same, you may want to look at the weight. But importantly, it's not just about weight, because some people lift not heavy weights or just less heavy weights or something, but they're doing it to hypertrophy where they're close to muscle failure and they still build muscle. Now that's tedious and requires far more reps, and I don't like doing that. Like, I'd rather just lift heavy weights to absolute failure or near failure on each set, to where shit actually fucking hurts, and then, you'll build muscle as a result of that. But adequate resistance, the only way that I can even talk about this is to sort of demonstrate it. Like, there's this one machine that, it's like chest flies or something. It's like this machine that you got two handles on the side, and, it's got a certain amount of weight, like, set down below on this little reservoir that has like stacked weights, and you do this with it, right? You just pull the little arms like closer to you. When you're doing that, right, a lot of guys make the mistake of getting on these machines or like lifting weights, and they have low amount of weights and they're doing it really quickly. They're just doing it super quickly. Like, some of the real muscular motherfuckers, whether they're on PEDs or not, even if they're on PEDs, like, they care about their physique, and so they know how to properly lift weights. You'll see that they lift slower. Like, they're actually really trying to facilitate that resistance in the movement. So they're just slower. They're really trying to feel that muscle, get damaged and worked. And that's what you have to focus on, whether you're benching, incline pressing, you're doing any kind of shoulder flies or overhead arm presses or military press or, curls, whatever you're doing. You must do it slow and actually feel that resistance. Provide the resistance. You don't want to be one of those guys that's lifting super quickly and thinking you're actually fucking getting anywhere, because most of the time you are not. So provide adequate resistance. Otherwise, eating sufficient calories. Now, this does not necessarily mean being in a surplus all of the time and throughout the period that you are attempting to gain muscle, because I have proven to myself that with high levels of testosterone, you can gain muscle and also lose fat at the same time. It's very difficult, and you need to eat a considerable amount of protein, and you need to be just at maintenance on some days with your calories, but not necessarily over, just below maintenance. So you're actually losing fat, but you're still able to gain muscle. And then, of course, do some smart shit like add a surplus of 200 or 300 calories in every 3 or 4 days. When I'm cutting weight or losing weight, I do that, and it resets a lot of things, and it'll help me. Like, I'll notice my physique looks a little bit bigger, and my muscles actually look fuller, and it seems as if I've gained muscle even when I was in a deficit in 2-3 days prior, right? Eating for a day and getting in a surplus will substantially help you. But also the protein, right? The protein is very critical. And look, I'm not going to give you some sort of breakdown. It's different for different people is what I found. But yeah, 75, 80 grams of protein, more for some people. It's going to depend on where you're at. But you must make sure you're providing enough of the raw building blocks to facilitate protein synthesis. You need the amino acids in the system. You can't be like on a fucking vegan diet and expect to, gain substantial amounts of muscle, or skimping on your protein intake. My friends, eat meat. But ultimately, the point is, I didn't intend to make this video like about how to gain muscle or whatever, because there's YouTubers that are dedicated to that and, probably have much more sophisticated information relating to that. But testosterone is an uber critical element of building muscle. So if you're one of those guys that's struggling at the gym, you're not actually gaining mass, You're not getting stronger. Your physique really isn't changing. Because again, I see those folks. They'll be there for 6 months, just like slaving away. And their physique doesn't change. They're not gaining muscle. They're not getting stronger. You want to raise your testosterone. However you do it, on the natural side, Ryan's Natty Protocol and the Testosterone Superclass, or the non-natural side, like Clomid HCG, there are other non-natural protocols in that course. And as well as out there on the web. I mean, go do what you will with how you're going to raise your testosterone. But according to all the research, and according to all the anecdotals on how men feel and how healthy they become and how much more motivated they are and how confident they are and how fucking good they feel, like, bro, testosterone and having it at high levels is uber critical for you to be a functional man. And obviously for you to build muscle. Don't forget it. Don't think you can skimp on it. That's the major point that I want to make. Testosterone is uber critical for building muscle. Thank you so much for watching, guys. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you. Products. So yes, the Cortex Nootropics stack. If you're into nootropics, which most of you are that watch this channel, but if you came to this channel for another purpose or whatever, we built 2 nootropic products and they are astoundingly powerful. Because, look, I'm into neuroscience and I was building, well, both of them, but initially Cortex many, many years ago so that I can function awesomely. It wasn't even a pre-made stack that I was going to make commercial. It was the stack I was taking that was comparable to modafinil that I needed to take in order to function awesomely because I didn't want to take modafinil every day. I built the stack called Cortex. It's comparable. It's very strong, motivational energy that also gives you verbal fluency and brain fluidity. So it's kind of a combo nootropic stack. You can get the Cortex stack in the link in the description below or at livecortex.com. If you want a deal, either buy Cortex and Torque, our second stack, together, or use the coupon code 15NOW, okay? 15NOW will save you 15% on the Cortex nootropic stack literally right now. The second stack that we have is called Torque. This thing has been making waves on the internet because it is strong. It is powerful. You get a clean stimulant effect from Torque that is super noticeable, not overstimulating, but it just makes you feel way more like yourself and gives you so much raw horsepower cognitively. I mean, think about it. Don't you want that horsepower? That is the difference between productivity and not, my friends. Between getting the right amount of shit done in your life and not. Being energized to hang out with your family and not. Being energized to work on your side hustle, your business, work on getting promoted at your job or not. This is what all this is for. Not just to have some oddly stimulatory state. You want to improve your life, my friends. Torque will help you do that. So will Cortex. Get them at livecortex.com. Links are down below in the description for you to get those nootropic products. Again, coupon code 15NOW will save you 15% on both of those stacks, and your best bet is to get them both together and then see how you fare, my friends. I think you're going to love it. If you need my help on either nootropics, we've got consulting programs where I design your entire nootropics regimen and cognitive performance regimen. I mean, people come to me like, hey man, I'm just not functionally where I was 5-6 years ago or 10 years ago, and I need to be back in that place. I got a book to write, I got a promotion to seek, I've got a business to run. I'm not functioning awesomely mentally, and I need that raw horsepower back. Book me for consulting and we will design an entire regimen for you, adjust the regimen, and stay with you throughout to keep you functioning awesome. We've got 3-month programs, 6-month programs. You could also get on a call with me if you've got questions, you need an expert to weigh in. The consultations tab on the menu at livecortex.com. Also down below in the description is where you can book with me. If some of you guys have been thinking about it, I'm looking at some of our cart activity and people will add the shit to the cart and then bounce. Don't do that. If you're ready to improve your brain and ready to improve your energy, book with me and let's fucking go. Pleasure hanging out with you guys. Thanks so much for watching. More content to come soon. Probably another live stream this week, maybe even later today. So again, make sure you have the YouTube app and you've got the bell to get notified of all the stuff that I am putting out. And it's been awesome hanging out with you. Talk to you next time.